Hey everyone, it's me, the Hearth Guy, and I finally figured out where I am. I'm living inside your walls. Just, don't tell the police I'm here. They may be on the look for me. Don't ask why. It's, kinda cramped in here, if I'm being honest, and I haven't eaten in days. If you could leave some food out for me, that'd be great. In exchange, I'll watch you while you sleep. On the subject of a freakish weirdo watching you from on high, Rise of Nations is my favorite real time strategy game, where through the power of unpaid labor, you can turn your Stone Age village into the world's most feared superpower. Or more accurately, be demolished by the computer playing 5D chess while you don't even know how economy works. Before you get to begin reenacting my favorite parts of Fallout lore, though, you have to first learn the game. The basic way to play the game is to select a civilization and drop yourself into a blank map with a few enemies. You start with a single village, a handful of peasants, and a scout. Your peasants serve the purpose of working their lives away for the good of the nation, and your scout serves the purpose of being sent to die in foreign lands so that you can learn the location of your next target. The early stages of the game are fairly simple. Build up your nation's cultural level so that you can advance to the next age, then acquire newer, more specialized units and facilities. The smartest move is to build up your country's might quietly, so that you're fully prepared for the inevitable consequences of murdering a foreign explorer. Because whether you choose to or not, your soldiers will kill every scout that comes near them without hesitation every single time. Because, like pit bulls and children, your soldiers will chase them to the ends of the earth. Build more cities to expand your sphere of influence until your scout heroically gives their life to give you the location of the enemy capital, that you will summarily introduce to the concept of peacekeeping. Or in my case, they'll introduce me to the concept of equivalent retaliation. Rule number 1 of Rise of Nations: if you don't use nukes, they won't either. Rule number 2 of Rise of Nations: it's not fun until you use the nukes. Now, it is technically possible not to do this, but where's the fun in that? I don't want to win with wonder points or with a territory victory. No, it's way more fun to drop everything to ground zero. This game is a war crime simulator, and I don't say that lightly, because while other games may prevent you from actively attacking the populace of your enemies, this game not only allows it, it encourages it. Killing your enemy's peasants means that they have less workers. Less workers means less resources accumulated. Less resources means less ways to stop their impending annihilation. And when an average game can go up to an hour and a half, you've got time to plan, like investing all your military resources into bomb ships, so that you can harass your enemies from the safety of the water. Now, I don't know what the general consensus is, but I believe that the bomb catch and its affiliated development tree should be considered a form of cyberbullying. A boat with a long distance cannon that specializes in destroying buildings? That's just not right. Need I say that the capitals, which are buildings, need to be leveled in order for you to capture them. If a capital is captured for a certain amount of time, you instantly win the game. Now, remember what I said about those boats? I say this not as one who was bullied, but as the one doing the bullying. Don't worry though, it's a computer. It doesn't have feelings. Sorry, lads, your robot waifus will never exist, and they will never love you. Another important aspect is the government systems, each giving you unique buffs alongside a special leader unit that strengthens and protects your units, which means they will always die when you aren't looking. In those instances, you may want to invest in some generals, who aren't as special as the leader, but you can have as many of them as you want, and they have most of the same abilities. You can spend hours idling away time in the custom games, but the real joy is in the Conquer the World campaigns. 5 separate stories that ask you the very important question: how worse off would history be if you were put in charge of a growing empire? I have made Alexander great again, embodied the purest sense of small man syndrome, and conquered the entire world from Stone Age to Modern Age as the Dutch until it ended in a final climactic battle against the African-based Bantu Empire. No, I don't have the footage of this, and no, you don't get context. Needless to say, the act of trying to conquer the world is so insane that I can't not tell you some of the crazy things that have happened in my playthroughs. Starting with a campaign I haven't played yet at the beginning of making this video: the New World. Choosing the Americans, because I want to suffer, I start my campaign with some quick, what's the nice way to say this? Relocation. In order to manifest destiny, we must break the economies of our rivals. There is no disrespect greater than waltzing into another's territory, kicking their merchants off their land, and then gatekeeping their own resources. I'm not saying it's right, but I am saying it's profitable. However, these peaceful days could not last forever. as the despicable Frenchmen and their Iroquois allies declared war upon the British, who decided to drag us into it. We'll get to them later. Before we can get to that, we must rid the New World of the scourge that is the French. I did this by razing New Orleans to the ground, and I did so with supreme naval power that bordered on griefing. Upon the fall of the Frenchmen, we take their power for ourselves, just like the Highlander. But, like the Highlander, there can only be one. And so we manifest our destinies so hard we Guardian. Whether we wanted it or not, we've stepped into a war with the British on Mars. What? So let's get started by taking out their leadership. Something feels off here. King Charles. Nope, I'm opted out of this one. Like all good Americans, I kindly informed the British that their tea is unwanted, and they can keep their dental plan to themselves. We do this, of course, by invading Canada. Don't ask me why, but that's where the British put their headquarters, and since this world works on risk rules, all it takes to get them out is to make a little Canadian bacon. With them gone, the world is now my oyster. Except that I'm being attacked by the Mayans now, for some reason. And they want to control Florida, for some reason. However, with some time and effort we can... And I ran out of time. Well, now what? America has failed me, so I shall infuse myself with the Red Menace and spread security, welfare, and prosperity across the world. Join with me, my comrades, and I will tell you the tale of how I ruined the world through the power of communism. My first step, logically, is to infiltrate the US. Okay, wow, that is harder than it looks. You know what? Let's do something easier. Like invading Afghanistan. The further in time you are, the more complex the game becomes, and the more options become available to you. As the Cold War campaign takes place in the modern age, we go from cannons and bayonets to assault rifles and mobile artillery. In other words, missiles. Afghanistan was not the only one to be defeated. So was South Korea when our friends from the North called. Even China could not stand up to the overwhelming power of Soviet camaraderie, and it too joined us as fellow brothers in arms. As it turns out, being the Soviets is pretty easy when all you have to worry about is ideological and political expansion. Famine? I'm sorry, there is no famine in the Soviet Union. You know what else isn't in the Soviet Union? Dissenting opinions. Though we also apparently don't have any decent spies, because they all have a bad habit of being mowed down by machine guns. One question: why are there heavily armed soldiers in Minnesota? That's why I've chosen to ignore the espionage missions. Who needs spies when you have military spending anyway? We were doing just fine too, but apparently conquering Vietnam was just a step too far, and America decided to start a war with us. How uncivilized. As a result, I decided that Japan would be the next to join our glorious regime, entirely because of the military value, and certainly not for any other reasons. Now, I'm not going to lie. It was very easy. All I had to do was sail around the island and attack Tokyo directly. 5 minutes later and Japan was conquered. I somehow doubt it should have been that easy, but hey, who am I to complain? In retaliation for stealing their beloved Japan from them, Ronald Reagan attacks us. I don't even know what joke to make about that. The Reagan Revolution has shown its true colors, though why they want Poland is anyone's guess. However, even after removing the American scum from Soviet soil, I came upon a realization. With the time I had left, I could not win. I would be doomed to fail yet again. How could this happen? How could our great union fail? And so I came to the only conclusion that I could. If we could not steer the future, then there would be no future. And so, with a heavy heart, I signed the eulogy of the human race. Too young and foolish were we to believe that the world was deserving of our great... And I won! How did I win? Wow, who knew that nuclear war was so easy to win? I guess I really am. FBI, open up! They found me. It's time to make my exit. You'll never take me alive. Unscripted, low-quality Mike Hearthguy here. I wanted to say thank you for watching the video. This video kind of had to be thrown together last minute since all the data that I was using to make a different video got deleted. However, I hope you still had fun with it anyway if you got this far. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.